Hello, this is Ted Warner with the Texas Library Association, welcoming you to today's officer tutorial. This is the TLA Unit Financial Training, a tutorial for chairs and treasurers. And presenting today is the TLA Director of Administration, Glenda Genchur. Glenda, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. My goal today is to teach you how to obtain a copy of your financial reports, how to speak to and present these reports, and how to submit and understand your budget. We're going to begin by going to the TLA website. On our website, you're going to go to the tab to the far right that says Members Only. Because this is a secure site, this site requires you to log in with your TLA username and password. If you've forgotten this information, you may contact us here at the office by phone, by email, or by simply utilizing the Setup and Login Account button. You are now in the Secure Members Only area. By going to the link titled Officers Only section, you will get to the area that utilizes many of the documents and resources you will need during the duration of your officer appointment at TLA. In this location, we are going to request our financial statements. For training purposes today, we're going to utilize the information from Unit Cataloging and Metadata Roundtable. You complete the first line with your unit name. The second area is for your name. And the third is your position. The dates of financial request records would be today's date. You're now being asked what date range are you requesting of these financial records. It is a drop-down. Our fiscal year runs July to June. What method of delivery would you like of these reports? We have options of email, fax, or mail. Please enter your current or valid email address. Enter the fax number if that's the method you would like for delivery, or your physical address if you would like me to print them and put them in the mail. Any additional information regarding what data you're asking for, there are occasions where you would like a comparison and you might request several years of financials. The code in imaging is for security purposes so that we may ensure you are a valid TLA officer requesting the data. By hitting submit, this information will immediately be forwarded to me and I will get your request faxed, emailed, or mailed to you. Once you've received the documentation, I'm going to try to simplify how you speak to this information. The first example we're going to show today is the financial statements for catalog and metadata. revenue statement. This document is two-part. The top section of your revenue and expenditure statement is actual money that you have brought in. Revenues are income. On the example, you will see catalog and metadata had a unit allotment of $802.31. Unit deposits of $3,675. Individual membership of $2.34. And contribution revenues of $100. Catalog and metadata received a total of $4,579.65 for this fiscal year. The second half of your financial statement is a summary of expenses. Each expense is listed in its own separate category. Our first is catalog and metadata's gifts and souvenirs awards of $50, AV of $1,606, contributions, donations, and etc. Total expenses during this period was $5,747.61. Your balance sheet statement indicates that you spent more than you brought in. Therefore, your net revenues is a negative number for this period of time. Simply put, you will subtract your expenses from your revenue to get your net difference for the year. Our rule of thumb is don't spend more than you. The line below your net revenues is your beginning fund balance. This dollar amount is what you brought forward from the year before. This is basically your savings, your coffer, your emergency fund. Because catalog and metadata had a negative net revenue for this year, we subtract that from their unrestricted equity funds beginning balance. That results in their end of fund balance of $4,330.95. The second document we're going to review today is your general ledger. The general ledger is the detail of every item listed on your expense statement above. If you are questioning what makes up the dollar amount of unit allotment on your expense and revenue statement, you will go to your general ledger under the category unit allotment, and you will see credits to your statement for every month that you were allotted the portion of your dues, and so forth throughout your revenue and into your expenses. The detail of your expense statement is listed in your general ledger, and the transaction description oftentimes will give the explanation you need to present at your meeting. When you want to explain how you spent the $1,600 on AV, you will go to the area of your general ledger for AV, which is your general ledger 6419. And each charge is listed as a debit to your account. Your description will give the event number. AV charges are normally conference-related expenses. The first example on this general ledger is conference AV for event number 413, $426. To simplify how you speak to your financial statements, I have created a document known as Financial Report Talking Points. This document will give you step-by-step how to explain your financial reports. Catalog and metadata received a total of. This is a fill-in-the-blank document, and I have given you little hints as to where you're picking up this information from your report. At any time, you can request for me to fill in the talking points document for you, or send you a blank one and you can fill that in yourself. We're going to go on to the next step, which would be how to submit your budget. Website. We once again need to go to our secure site for members only and use your username and password to log in. Once you've secured your login, you will go to the Officers Only section and find the link for Budget Request Form. This is a drop-down selection of your unit. We're going to continue to use the catalog and metadata as our example. This form will pre-populate. If you're not the chair and you're not submitting this form, you may change the name. It will pre-populate with my information and my email for submission purposes. You will have 4 areas to complete your unit goals and objectives for the upcoming year. If you need more fields to complete, you'll have an area at the end. This form will calculate as you build it. My suggestion is to have your end-of-year financial reports present when you start to complete your budget. Using the data from last year's reports is your best bet. Membership allotment. That number will be very similar to what you had in membership allotment the year before. If you're doing a membership drive and you believe that you're going to have more money in allotment, this would be where you would increase your revenues. We're going to say we expect to get pretty much the same amount of money in unit allotment as we did the year before. Our financial statement for last year said that we received $802.31. We're going to put it at $800. Meetings and registration income is based on how much you intend to charge for your district meeting or any other meeting your unit might hold during the year. We're going to leave this one as pre-populated at the $100. Contribution revenue may be revenue that you've generated via partnering with another unit for sponsorship at conference, or a contribution from one of our sponsors that you expect to be receiving during the year. We're going to use the same amount as we had on our statements for last year. Last year we hosted a pre-conference, and therefore the monies coming in on our financial statements appeared under the line unit deposit or credit. We're going to use the same amount that we had the year previous, $3,675. As we're moving down each line, you will see that the form is calculating as we move along. You'll have plenty of opportunity to change numbers and maneuver back to the area that you want it to be if you have an error. This year we're going to spend $100 in postage because we're doing a membership promotion, and that's going to incur a little expense. We're sending out postcards, and the printing of these items are going to cost about $200. If we're going to meet and possibly use the conference calling option here at TLA, we may incur some phone charges. We're going to say we're going to incur a $10 phone expense this year. Our supplies we expect to be about $50 for the year. Other correspondence, we're not expecting any other than what we have put in our expenses above. We're not having a newsletter expense or any publication inventory. During conference of last year, we spent about $1,600 in AV. We're planning an extra program this year, and by utilizing the event form, we've come up with the dollar amount of $2,000 as our expected AV charges. We have one speaker coming, and we're not paying an honorarium, but we are paying $500 in travel. We're going to list $100 as speaker gifts for our expenses this year. As we move down our budget statement, we come to an area of other expense items. This area under column 8 through 12 is your contributions. In the blank lines of column 8 through 12, you will list what area you are making contributions, such as Tall Texas, Legislative Committee, scholarships, professional expenses. Disaster relief. Now, as we've moved down our budget document, we have got to our bottom line, and it is a negative. We don't want to submit a negative budget. We have more work to be done. We need to go back up and determine where have we gone wrong to submit a negative budget. We cannot and should not spend more than we bring in. Therefore, we need to look at what areas we can either cut expenses or increase revenue. How can you increase revenue? You can do so in several different ways. You can ask other units to partner with you in your sponsorships of programs. You can get contributions from outside donors. We're going to have to incur a good deal more in contributions to be able to maintain the expenses we've determined here in the bottom of our budget. Because we don't believe we're going to be able to increase our revenue much more than the $5,000 we have stated on this budget, we're going to have to look at some of our expenses and possibly reduce in this area. We now have brought ourselves to a positive budget. When you feel you are comfortable with the numbers submitted in your budget document, you again hit the Submit Budget Request document. That document will come to me immediately via email. If you've reviewed that document and you feel you need to make changes, contact me. We can make the changes. You can go back online and redo your budget, and in the statement at the bottom, just send me a note saying this is a revision, and I'll replace your budget. Speaking to your financials should be something you're comfortable with and that you understand. I am your resource, and I'm available to you. Let me know, and I'll be here to help. Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Glenda. As she said, here is her contact information, her email and phone, including the toll-free number. Feel free to contact her if you need any help preparing your financial reports or getting your financial information. We also point out on this page there is a handout that she used in the course of the presentation that is downloadable even in this recorded format under Files. And under Web Links, you'll see direct links to the officer's resource page she mentioned, the instructions on how to file a budget and how to get those paid. Thank you